Hey everyone, welcome back to the Winner's Circle. I'm Derrick.
And I'm Cody.
And we're here. Big Brother, Celebrity Big Brother, finale just happened. We're going to be reacting to it. But Cody, hit them with it first because we know they love this.
Yeah, you guys love this, so we're going to make sure we keep it to you every single week. If you haven't done so already, we're not going to drag it out for 9 minutes. Just subscribe to the channel. You know the benefits. We explained it. If you didn't see it, watch last video. We gave you a good 10-minute intro. Also, the link merch is down below, so check it out if you want to get yourself some Winner's Circle merch. Also, if you get some of that, we love the support, so make sure you post something in it, tag us, and we'll be reposting it because we love the support. We appreciate it. It allows us to continue to do what we're doing, upgrade our systems, just the community that we're building, and so we appreciate it, and we're only doing this for all of you. We love you, and we appreciate it, and we love what we're doing.
Spoken like a champ. We know you guys loved it. We kept it under a minute. Is that okay? You guys approve? You guys good with that?
Yeah.
Yes? No? Maybe? Yes? No?
5-star rating on the audio also if you're listening on audio.
Exactly. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You heard it. Okay. We got that out of the way. Yeah. Now let's get to the episode. And we're not going to go over everything. We're going to address the elephant in the room because we're recording this right now. It's 10 o'clock at night on the East Coast. And if you're on Twitter, you might have noticed that Cody and I are currently trending for Big Brother USA.
Yeah.
Cody, how did that happen? How did this happen, man? We haven't been on the show in a little bit. Why are we? Did we pregame for Celebrity Big Brother too? What's going on here?
We did a lot of pregame, which we're going to address in another video. It's going to come next week because we need a little.
The new
buffer.
Rumors about the new show.
The new show coming out. The rumors of how Derrick and I are ruining that. I guess I don't know.
We're on
speculation.
Hey,
yeah, we're on.
Are we going to work together?
Working for.
I want to work together.
Here's the thing. Bro, I've called too many people. I have too big of an alliance to fit you in.
Really?
You're on the outs.
I see how it is.
We're gonna have to go against each other.
And well, I've been pre-gaming too, and I have my own alliance as well. So we'll just get in there, and as soon as day one starts, it's going to be clearly divided, and nobody's going to know how it happened.
Yeah, facts. So we were mentioned tonight on the Celebrity Big Brother finale because, as most people see Todrick playing this game, he did play a duo with Miesha. He played a huge duo with Miesha. Now the comparison came in where Todrick said that him and Miesha are similar to you and I.
Yeah,
what did you think about
his plea?
Which is why why we were trending. That was Todrick's plea to Miesha in order to be brought to the final two because Miesha won the final HOH. So what'd you think of that? Do you think Miesha and Todrick are similar to you and I?
So, I think they did play a really good game together. Yeah. They were loyal. Miesha was definitely the leader of the group, and I think very deserving of her win, which we'll get into, but I think it was a little more one-sided than you and I were, to be honest. I feel like you brought the physical aspect where I kind of brought the strategic element. Todrick was doing a lot of the gossiping and kind of coaching her through it. I do get that, but I don't really feel like it was so much strategy. It was more just the way the ball fell. Yeah. But that all said, we say it all the time. We'll say it again. We get mentioned a lot on the show still. You recently played. I haven't played in 7 years. So we're very proud of what you and I accomplished. So when anyone, regardless of whether that player is liked or not liked, it is a compliment for us. He's saying it because he looks up to us and he was inspired by us in the game. Yeah. In the game. So I'd be a fool to sit here and say like, nah, man, we don't want it. Ultimately, we're not saying we condone or disapprove of his strategy, his gameplay. We're going to interview him tomorrow, so we'll have a chance to ask him. But just from looking at it in a vacuum, it was meant to be a compliment to us, so I have no problem with it. And the fact that we're trending and we're still being talked about on a season we had nothing to do with, I'm not mad about it, seeing that we got a little podcast here. I'm okay with it.
Yeah. So
what's your thoughts on it?
My take on it is very few people, and I want to say probably nobody knew that we were a duo, like how we were a duo. Nobody knew the tightness of
that's a good point. From a game perspective?
From a game perspective. So I'm thinking only game perspective. Obviously, we appreciate it. And like you just said, I don't need to really reiterate it too much, but I will. Todrick's view...
but I will.
Todrick's view that he's getting from social media and a lot of that is coming from the things he said. Now, we're going to take all of that out of the equation because we've said this before. We're not the judge, the jury, and the executioner. Todrick's going to come out and answer to.
And we did a video on it.
Strategically speaking, Todrick and Miesha weren't a undercover hidden duo like I felt we were. Everybody knew Todrick and Miesha were joint and attached at the hip.
That's true.
I just think that it was in a game where like people were like, oh, well, They win, like Miesha wins every other week. So like, what are we going to do? And nobody took that. Chris Kirkpatrick was the only one that attempted to do it. When it failed, it almost just got brushed under the rug until it was too late. So although I appreciate it, because when you talk about duos, I think our duo really comes in as, not to brag, we're probably the best duo. And arguably the only other two would be Dan and Memphis or Boogie and Will. You know, and so of the three, you have you and me who played and won. We've both played and we both won. And so when duos get mentioned, we're obviously somebody that's top of mind. Also because I played a little more recently. Do I think their games emulated us? I don't think so. Because I would say, like, I did really well in competitions. My social game was what I thought was probably the best part. Your social game, which was I think underlooked at because your strategic game was so absolutely out of control. And so like we complemented each other's in ways where we knew to stay away from each other, but our social and strategic game was just so intertwined that it made the duo what it was, which is why people like to emulate it or try, which is not, it's very difficult. And so, you know, I love the shout out and we really appreciate it. But the game that we played was super different, and honestly super different than the game that they had to play, because Celebrity Big Brother is not the same as a regular. So I think that their duo is in its own real category, because the celebrity game being sped up like that, it's not the same as the game that we get to play. It's a little more laid back where they don't get to be that way. It's got to be a little more cutthroat. And so they're in their own rank, to be honest, because Todrick was never nominated. Miesha won a ton of competitions. Todrick won his fair share of competitions, and Todrick had really good strategy. The gossip is what hurt Todrick, and which is why it kind of steamrolls us into our next thing about the votes from the finale. And Todrick really just got crushed, right?
He got crushed. I will say, before we even get to the votes, because I wanted to ask you about it, I tweeted about it. I love CBS. Big Brother changed my life.
Yeah.
So there is a loyalty there, but at the same time, if I did something that they didn't approve of, they wouldn't stick up for me. You know what I mean? They have no loyalty to me. So I got to be honest. Every week we had a lot of content shoved down our throats with the show. And it was tough to watch, to be honest. It was a lot of fluff. 2 hours. And it was just you and I were struggling.
Yeah, bro.
And out of all nights, not to have a 2-hour episode, you picked the finale. And because you choose to pick that, you don't even do jury questions, which are pillars and some of the most exciting portions of the entire season. The jury, who may be bitter, may, want to come at him a little bit, cause a little drama, get a rise out of the, to final two. We were completely deprived of all of it, especially with this jury going home and seeing it. Now, you might make the argument like, well, we can't have you ask them questions because you already saw everything. And so you're, you have a different perspective. Who cares? It's Celebrity Big Brother. It's not even a real Big Brother game.
Yeah.
The fact that we didn't get that, that was the whole reason I tuned in. And the fact that it just kind of skipped over it and didn't even give them a chance to kind of explain their game to the jury, I thought was a huge disappointment. I was really let down by it. I could not believe they out of all the parts they took out, that was what they chose.
I didn't even think of that, dude. You're bringing up
am I wrong?
Great point. You're 100% right. I didn't even think of it, and it's a great point because I think I got caught up in the daggers that everybody was throwing while they were voting.
While they were voting, because that's the only chance they had.
That's the only chance they had, and I didn't even think of it in that sense of, man, they took out that part where everybody gets to really do that. I mean, I witnessed it firsthand. I got crushed on 16.
But dude, even me, if you remember, Caleb was like, "Oh, we all believe you use your family as strategy."
Yeah,
remember that?
Yeah. And then the fake came right out my thing.
That was what she said that during the vote. But they came at me with a question.
Okay.
Like,
it wasn't a question.
They came at me and was like, "Hey, we think you use your family as strategy." I'm like, "What?" And it definitely threw me off. I was like, "Oh, that ain't good."
Yeah,
So I didn't get it. But and conversely, I don't think this would have happened, but you deprived Todrick a chance to explain some of his behavior, some of the things he did to the jury, and maybe he sways a couple people by his answers. That's the whole point of it. Like, you're not supposed to know who you're going to vote for until after they answer the questions, and based on their answers, you may change your mind. Like, you should still be considering who you're going to vote for. Todrick didn't even get that chance. He, judge and jury happened before they even sat down in their chairs.
On Twitter.
So it was, Yep, and I don't think it would have made a difference. They came in there guns loaded.
Yeah.
But it would have been nice to see it for both reasons. And the fact that they decided, again, when have we had a 1 hour finale? I can't even remember.
Yeah, I think it's because they probably did it with 2 hours on Monday. Dude, an episode was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday with a 2 hour episode, finale on Wednesday. So they were probably like, what are we going to do? 2 hours on Monday for the double and then throw a 2 hour finale. Like, you want to talk about fluff, they would have nothing to show in the episode. Because think about it. If they're going to they don't have, like on a normal finale night, they show the 3-part HOH competitions in the finale.
That's right.
They weren't even doing that on this season because
you could have did 90 minutes. They could do whatever they want.
They could have did 90 minutes.
They could have did 90 minutes. There was enough there for 90 minutes. The questions alone would have taken 5 or 10 minutes.
Probably a little bit more, right?
Maybe a little bit more if you're doing a break or two in there.
6 questions total, right? 3 and 3?
Yep. And also you could add 4. You could have let 4 go through. And I know there wasn't like a pre-jury, but Julie could have asked a few more questions about what happened on social media because it is relevant to the season because that's what the jury was basing their decisions on.
Yeah,
so
totally.
why not let them weigh in on all the things that have been happening? Like there was so much good content there. And listen, I'm not coming for anybody, but you got to call it out. I don't know if there was other things at play where they wanted to do 90 or an hour, 2 hours, and the higher up said no, it's not happening. But it feels to me, if I had to totally guess with no inside information, they kind of were hoping it was only going to be an hour because they didn't really want that drama because maybe there's something different in their contracts where they have to kind of protect them a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, you know that has to be in there with how many times the feeds got cut, you know?
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like it just comes off like they didn't want, because we know it was going to happen. They were going to come for Todrick's neck, but I also think they were going to come for Miesha on some things too. They weren't completely happy with her either.
Right.
So I don't think it would have been completely one-sided. I think they both would have been in for some explaining, you know, and
that's what that's for, right? That's what that's for, catching people off guard and getting their like natural reaction to these questions that get fired at them because they're not always layups. And there's a couple in there that are layups, but there's a couple in there that are a little bit daggers. Like, could you imagine if Shayna had the opportunity to ask Todrick a question?
Right? That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that could have been both sides. It could have been an opportunity for people who don't like Todrick to see him get crushed, and then people who do like Todrick, a chance for him before he has his PR team, you know, kind of work him through it to give an off the cuff, straight from the heart answer as to why he said what he said. Like, hey, Todrick, you told Lamar that you didn't want a white blonde woman win. Why is that?
Yeah.
Because guys, I'll fill you in right now.
Yeah.
When we ask him the question tomorrow, he's already going to know it's coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, there's something to be said for that. But anyways, I don't want to like beat a dead horse.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I thought it was a huge letdown. I'm going to come right out and say it. I just think, you know, Julie already kind of answered it. She doesn't know if Celebrity Big Brother is going to be on next year. I think it's time to do away with Celebrity Big Brother.
Yeah.
I'd rather see Big Brother OTT or something like that. Like
people that are coming on fresh. And even if, dude, I would love to cover an over the top because it would be more strategic. There'd be more to talk about. Like there was not a lot to talk about each week because it was a lot of fluff, too many episodes. The strategy wasn't entirely there. And like, what are we going to do? Come on and talk strategy about people who were paid to go on the show. Like most of them are not super fans. They're just looking for another television opportunity. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. These are people that are already like Carson. It doesn't need another television opportunity. He's just trying to broaden his range, which is great. And I think he did because he won America's Favorite. And so you need more people that are like willing to play the game, especially this accelerated version. This accelerated version of it is brutal. And you had people in there like Todd. I would have loved to have seen Todd because Todd seemed to have woken up at the back end of the season and it was already too late. Like he started being like, oh, I'm going to compete. I'm ready to go. And like, I started thinking like, dude, I think Todd can win some of these competitions and mix it up. But it became too late because then it became like he was the HOH, outgoing HOH. He only had one veto to play and there was only like 5 people left. So I was like, dang, he kind of woke up a little bit too late. And it was like, if you have a bunch of people that are really diehards, like Chris Kirkpatrick, like Shayna, like Todrick, and you have majority of them are like that with sprinkled in a couple celebrities that aren't, then you make for a good show. But when you have 80% of the cast doesn't even know, this is what we're always going to get.
and normal people don't have the protections and the contracts that these guys do. This was like such a watered down version of the show. It's not even the show. The feeds are cutting constantly. So if those are all the concessions we have to make in order to have Big Brother during the colder months, I don't want it. I'd rather just have a regular season if it's or an OTT where it's accelerated, but it's people who sign their life away, and if they do something bad, they're gonna get crushed, like Christine did, like Aaron did, like all these. They didn't protect them.
No,
they crushed them.
Jack and Jackson,
Jack, dude, on his finale night when he won, he won the freaking show, and they crushed him. Live television, like broke him right there. So they're not gonna do that. They didn't even give these guys questions, and I do think part of that is a protection thing. So if that's what we have to get, if we get celebrities, I don't want it, because frankly, I think you get a better show without it. It's cool to see people you grew up playing, but that fascination wears off in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I agree with that's a great point. It goes away immediately once you're trying to watch a show that you love for the strategy and the social aspect of it, and the competitions and the blow-ups. It's like, all right, give me
a regular season,
bro.
man.
I was obsessed with Chris Kattan.
Yeah.
And like I was like, dude, this isn't even like Chris Kattan. Like he's not even in the show.
Nah, they're a shell of themselves.
Yeah.
But I know it sounds like a bitch fest. But again, I mean, it's just like when we're covering it, we want to be honest with you guys. And it's tough to cover a show like that when there's really nothing to talk about, because we are fans of the game, and there really wasn't a lot of game. Miesha just basically trucked them all. Like she was a blunt force object, and she just ran through them.
Yeah.
Simple as that. She's a beast.
Yeah. How many comp points? Did we even tally that? Like
it had to be like 5 or 6 at least, right?
Yeah, man.
5 or 6. I mean, she crushed it. And so in that short of a season, that's crazy. So the vote, which is what you started saying.
Yeah.
Vote comes out. It's 8-1. Cynthia's the only person
who
voted for Todrick, because frankly,
right?
Yeah, we knew that was going to happen. So, which I'm glad. Hey, listen, at least he got 1 vote. He realized very quickly, based on their comments when they were voting, that they were directing it towards him.
I mean,
he
Teddy
knew, oh, okay, I see what's happening here.
Yeah, Teddy right off the rip was like, I'm voting for the person, like something about Wizard of Oz, i.e. directed right at Todrick.
Oh, no, he
and
knew.
then you're this, but you forgot this. And then it's like, I was like, oh, there goes 1 vote. And then it's like they had the clip of Todd rolling his eyes. Shayna walked up and goes, if I never have to talk to you again. Lamar got a tattoo. And you knew when he said that, based off of watching the show, with Lamar talking about, I was taught to have grace whether you win or you lose. And obviously Todrick wasn't taught the same thing. He probably got a tattoo along the lines of
like Kobe
competing.
I thought like a Kobe.
Yeah, it could have been that. Like
a winner.
Yeah. And then after he said that in previous episodes, I was like, not Todd. You saw him roll his eyes. And then when he said he goes, when you came out and saw said stuff on the live feeds, I was like, not Todrick. And so I think in all those, Todrick probably immediately came to a realization, like I was kind of pinning everybody as the bad guy when it really was me. Like maybe I misinterpreted it. And I don't see him being like, oh, whatever. I feel like Todrick is going to take that. It's going to bother him, and he's going to want to address it, because it was obvious that he just was misguided and had a complete different interpretation of what was going on in the house personally, not game wise. Because I think he had a great grasp on the game. Personally, though, I think he was very off. He had no idea what was really happening,
I got one more thing to complain about. I know I'm hating tonight. You have everybody from America vote for who they want to win, right? We're the tiebreaker. Why not make us the first vote? We're all watching from home, including the jury. Well, America just got their first vote in years when it came to who was winning. Why wouldn't you say, because Chris was out, first vote goes to America, and America votes for, because Julie could have put the key in there and been like, so-and-so. I'm assuming it would have been Miesha, right? Miesha.
It would have definitely been Miesha.
Miesha. Wouldn't that be kind of cool? Wouldn't that be kind of cool to have America be the first vote to kick it off?
Yeah. The reason why, obviously, they're not doing it is because when somebody's a tiebreaker, you don't hammer that vote into the pool of everybody else.
Why do we got to be a tiebreaker?
Well, because they weren't supposed to be voting in the first place. I'm not. I got to be honest with you. I'm on the other side of this.
Who's the show for? Who's the show for?
It's for America. I agree with you. If you give them a chance, you should make it like, okay, your vote does count. Not, oh, it's a tiebreaker, because now we don't even know, and we know it would have been a landslide, and that would have been the real eye opener for Todrick.
Oh, he would be like, right there, like,
they voted for Miesha?
And let's be honest, if the jury's not voting for you, you're like, they're hating because I beat him. But if they say, oh, America, like, it hurt. It was like, ooh, when I knew we weren't going to win, but when Julie was like, no, America chose not to give you the money because you didn't save Donnie, I was like, ooh, America hates me. It kind of hurt a little bit. But that was another thing. But yeah, the votes were how we thought they were going to be. Todrick realized that you could see it in his demeanor. He was just trying to survive at that point and get out of the house as quick as possible. He realized whatever he had manifested was not coming true.
Yeah.
So Miesha wins 8-1, very well deserved. Overall, what was your takeaway on Miesha? Putting it in perspective that what she played in and who she played against. How do you think she did?
I mean, she did a great job. She was somebody that didn't fully understand the game. She didn't fully understand the game. I don't think she ever watched Big Brother before, but I do take her as somebody where she said, I didn't really know, and I didn't have a lot of time to prepare. I do take her as somebody who probably did her best to prepare, but when you're cramming all that, like if you're watching right before you go on and you've never seen the show before, it's really hard to get a good grasp on how you need to play. And so I got to give her kudos, because it's not easy to just go in and play that game as a newbie. And in an accelerated season, it's got to be twice as hard. And so I give her a lot of kudos, because, I mean, she just went in and did what she knew. She stayed true to herself. You never really saw her as like the nasty one. You saw her as just like, dude, if she's competing, there's a very high chance that she wins. And I feel like that gained a lot of people's respect. And so you got to give her kudos, in my opinion.
I definitely do as well. I knew she was going to be an athlete in there, but she won some mental comps too. She beat people who should have been able to beat her. It was a fair opportunity. And even tonight with the final HOH, it's a memorization game.
Yeah.
And she beat him.
Can we talk about that real quick?
Of course we can.
You just want to bring it up, right?
You just want to bring it up that you beat me? Is that what it is?
No. I mean, ours was a crapshoot. That competition.
Sure was.
For me, but for me, our season, the All-Star season, was actually what I liked the most.
Yeah,
that final three HOH was like, it's no longer a crapshoot, because say you and me weren't in that situation where we're the final two and we're like, yo, we know. Say I'm fighting for my life. I don't want that final comp to be a crapshoot. And I love how they changed it. They changed it on 21. And and now they have adjusted it moving forward.
Ours was like, what do you think they would have said?
And that's stupid. You and me were guessing every single time. And
it's supposed to be like, how well do you know your house guests? But they can say whatever they want.
Exactly. And so you saw that.
Dude, your season, you didn't even get one wrong on your season, right?
But we know to spend hours studying. Like Miesha, Todrick, and Cynthia. Cynthia combined, they got 6 questions right.
Yeah, no, it was pretty bad.
5. Because it was
3-1-1.
3-1-1.
Right? Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It's
and that's what I'm talking about. Just in general, like, if you're a fan of the show, it's not that entertaining. It just isn't. And I think that's why Julie said what she said in the interview with Us Weekly, which is kind of like, I don't know if it's coming back. The ratings probably weren't great.
Yeah.
And it's probably a really tough show to produce when you're like having to protect people and do all these extra things. They're probably like, hey, let's just throw 15 strangers in there and make some money. Like, let's just do it.
Make the same, like, they're making more money because they don't have to pay the celebrities.
Right.
It's the same reason why it was so hard. And I genuinely think if it wasn't for the pandemic and having the casting process be halted, that an All-Stars 2 wouldn't have even happened, because they don't feel like paying money for people when the views are relatively similar. It's not like you have skyrocketed, other than, I know Survivor, they had talked about that, when they had the winners all come back, but that's all winners. Like, I'm telling you, if you did a Big Brother with only winners, your views would be skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Celebrity Big Brother, I don't know. Like, even an All-Star, because there's always that speculation of All-Stars of like, oh, are they an All-Star? Or are they not an All-Star? But with winners, these are winners. There's no speculation there.
OTT styles, runner-ups, or all new people, I'm in for it. I'm all for it. Final thing about the show tonight. AFP. Were you surprised? Not surprised? I didn't expect
about you?
That.
Were you?
I thought I was thinking Shayna or Lamar.
Facts.
I didn't think Carson comes in with dub.
No,
I see it now. I see it now because he's very popular. In he's on a huge show. He's got a big following. He was very entertaining, and on the show, he was a very entertaining character for the, I guess you would call him, the casuals or the TV people, only the TV people.
He was great.
So I see it now.
Yeah.
But that just goes to show you again, like BB Twitter, as polarizing as it is and as rabid as it can be, at the end of the day, TV viewers outweigh the people who are commenting online, because if that were the case, Shayna would have won. She was in first place 99% of the time on all of these polls that were being done.
Yeah.
With Lamar being a close second.
Yeah, I agree. I was, like you said, I was a little less shocked that Carson I was more shocked that he even got in. And then once he got in, I was like, he's got to be the one that wins. Because when she named 3 people and Carson was included, I was like, that's weird. Carson's got to be the winner.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I could see him being top 3, but I didn't see him winning.
Yeah. But I was just, I think what happened was that Lamar, people loved Lamar. Super likable. Just everybody enjoyed him on the show. But people were like, this guy didn't even understand the game. This guy didn't even understand the game. And even the casuals watching knew that. And so they probably were like, this guy didn't even try to play. He was just there. He didn't try to play this game. He was still learning the game like right before he left. He still had no idea what was happening. He was like, wait a minute. One of us can go up. I think he was talking about, like, Todd was explaining to him. And Todd was like, what everybody was saying on Twitter, he was sleeping a lot of the time. Todd was explaining it to more. And I think that probably is what made people be like, I'm not voting for him. Shayna probably got a huge push because Shayna also had Janelle behind her. And that's a big person to have behind you, especially with a fandom that probably will vote a million times because Janelle's won AFP before. And so I thought Shayna was going to get it for that reason. And then seeing Carson, I was like, man. And I loved Carson. So I was like, this is great. This is great because he's just a likable guy. He was super entertaining. And he got duped. And so maybe people felt bad for him. And then I think people saw him apologize. Like I saw him post this big thing apologizing to Shayna, and that may have pulled some more people his way.
Dude, he's definitely, it wasn't, after I put it together, it makes sense. And so, hey, listen, congrats to Carson. He seems like he's going to do good with the money. Congrats to the rest of the cast. As much as I'm hating, it's not easy to do that game. Every single person that came out and all the things they've done in their life, Olympic skating, MMA, National Basketball Association, championship games, they all said, and maybe they're just saying it for TV, but they all said this was harder because it is. It's more mentally straining because it's a longer duration. So kudos to everyone who stuck it out, because it seems like every year we have someone who goes in there and then quits. And, I completely respect anyone who has to leave for mental reasons, whatever it is, but it always sucks when you have to quit something out. You don't like to see anybody have to not finish what they started. However, before we go, there is an important announcement, a big announcement. Some of you guys have asked. We've already answered on social, but we're officially announcing with the cast reveal tonight that Cody and I will be covering Big Brother Canada Season 10 on the show. We're doing it. It's a full season. We're saying how much we'd rather do it. Well, guess what? We're getting our wish.
Yep.
We're not going to talk about the cast tonight. I just saw it come out. We're going to do our due diligence. We're going to do a cast reveal episode. We're going to be covering it through the season, weighing in with you guys. This will be our first real season since BB23. And I think this is Cody's first season watching BB.
You've been trying to get me to watch it since we came out of the house.
The house is ridiculous.
Yeah.
The house is fire. And their BB music, dude. Their theme song.
You've been trying to get me on this for a while. So for people out there that have no idea, because that was always my biggest thing. It's like, how do I watch this? How can people, if they're interested, tune in so that they can watch along to be a part of the recaps and be like, oh, I get what they're talking about. So that they're not like, oh, well, I'm not even watching the season.
It's a great question. So what I would recommend, and I recommend this for you even if you're not going to use it for Big Brother purposes. Anyone who doesn't know, a VPN. You need to have a VPN. It's a virtual private network. You can get them. I think there's even some discounts on Crime Weekly if you go look for Surfshark or NordVPN. We've done a few different ones, but it's like $2 or $3 a month. And what it basically does is it allows you to hide your IP address. So when you go on your computer, there's basically an address that tells the internet exactly where you're located. And BB Canada is protected where only Canadian citizens can watch it. However, when you use a VPN, you can select where the internet thinks you're coming from. So you can change it to a Canadian residence, to a Canadian location, and you can go on globaltv.com, whatever it is. We'll have the website, and you can watch the episodes because they go up on the website after. Or you can actually click on it where if you have like a service provider for them that's showing the show, you can do it that way. So there's a few different options. We'll make sure that we tell you guys multiple times. It won't just be tonight. The live feeds are free. It's usually on Global TV as well, the same website. I remember when I was a police officer, if I had my lunch break, I was in the lunchroom watching the Big Brother Canada feed. So we'll get you through it. If you're interested in it and you want to follow along with us, I'll get you there. We will figure it out. Because I think, Cody, I even got to hook you up.
You're gonna have to walk me through it. You're gonna have to walk me through it. I mean, I had Bruno because I've been on Twitch with Bruno and Alec.
Yeah,
and so
Bruno's the man.
They sent me a link, a website once that just had everything on it. I was like, wait, what?
And that's
I'm like, it's that
and
easy?
I was gonna say that's the other thing too. There are links for websites, and we'll put those down. We got to make sure they're not illegal, you know. But if it's a legal way where we're not promoting anything that's illegal, or you can find it on your own, that's, you know, what you're doing in your own time. That's not our business. But there are websites, American websites, that take the shows, download them, have them on their websites, and you click the link and watch the show. And Big Brother Canada is absolutely awesome.
That's what I've heard.
Awesome.
That's what I've heard.
Dude,
I heard
it's
that
awesome.
it's like,
and it's a shorter season usually.
Yeah.
It's like 70 days.
Okay.
So it's just the right amount. It's like it goes fast.
Because I got to tell you, from like 70 to 90 is where it's like,
it's boring.
Man.
Dude, it's boring. And Arissa's a great host. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to not only watching it, but watching it with you for the reason you mentioned. I've been trying to get you into it. And now I'm really interested to see not only my friend, but the winner of Big Brother All-Stars watch another season of Big Brother that, honestly, the only real similarity is the name.
Really?
They do it completely. Well, I mean, the same competitions like the vetoes and HOHs, but it's a completely different feel.
Ooh.
It's a completely different feel.
So I'm going to be like kind of learning as I go too.
Dude, it's good, man.
Okay.
It's good. They hide things in the house that like have advantages. There's secret rooms,
it's
like real
Survivor,
secret rooms.
more like it's
Dude,
more.
There's like real secret rooms. Like you have to turn a knob, hit a button, and pull down a ball, and then all of a sudden out of the floor comes this podium with a freaking button that can save your game. But like anybody can find it. It's not just thrown in there last minute. They tell you where the secret room is in the house before the season starts, and some random house guest might be walking by and he's like, "Oh, let me turn this little clock," and all of a sudden a freaking door opens, bro. Dude, it's insane.
I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to it, and so
it's gonna be good.
Great.
So tune in for that. We're not going anywhere. We're going to keep it going. Like I said, we're going to have the cast reveal episode. On top of that, we're also fortunate enough to be interviewing America's favorite player, the runner-up, and the winner. So Miesha, Todrick, Carson, and Cynthia, I believe. Although, while we were recording this, I got a little email in the corner here from CBS that said Carson's got a change in his schedule. So they're going to get some more details and then get back to us. So we may not have him, but we'll let you know. But we also do have Todd. We're trying to work on times for him as well. So a lot of videos coming your way, and they're going to be dropping fast because we got to move on to Big Brother Canada. So just be ready for it. Have your notifications on, because if you want to be the first to see it, we're going to be hitting all those different videos.
Yeah.
Anything else? Final words? I thought we kind of covered it all.
No, I didn't know if you were going to roll to tomorrow, or I was like, am I signing us out tonight? Am I just going to be like, am I sending us out?
You know what? Sign us out, bro. Tell them where they can find us. Sign us out. I want to see how, let's see what you do here.
Yeah. So find us on Instagram, Winner Circle Cast. Check out our YouTube channel, The Winner Circle. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on those bell notifications. They really help us a lot. We appreciate you guys joining us here on The Winner Circle. We will see you next week.
I love it. See you next week. Later, guys.